Hey there guys, it's Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb, your home for old school airgun reviews where we tell you the facts, not fluff. Now we've already done our unboxing. We've done our basic sight-in with open sights here with our Gamo Arrow in 177. Now it's time to mount a scope. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, so the scope we're going to be using today is the BSA Outlook. This is an airgun scope. It's an affordable scope, so it's probably well under $100. It's a good fit for a rifle like this. This is a very affordable gun. You're not going to be shooting 7,500 yards. This is a great backyard gun. So you want something that's going to match your use case, and this is a great option. This is a 3-9 by 40. And let's talk about some of the features you absolutely want to look for when you are buying your first airgun scope. Okay, so you probably want variable magnification, so this goes from 3 power to 9 power. Now to make the most use of that at any distance, say from 10 meters and beyond, you're going to want to have what's called an adjustable parallax. Now this happens to have an adjustable objective, and for lack of a better word or definition, we're just going to call it focus. Okay, so when you're looking down your sight picture, maybe you've got a scope that's done this to you, and you've got a variable power scope, you've got a target at 15 yards, and you crank it all the way to 9, and it's all blown out, it's all out of focus. That's because if you can't adjust the parallax, that's that focal point at range, it's going to be out of focus. So an adjustable objective or an adjustable parallax, some are side focus, this one happens to be this front AO focus. It allows you to actually get that picture tack sharp. So that's very, very important. When you're looking for an airgun scope, especially if you're shooting in your backyard and you're shooting close range, you definitely want to have some sort of adjustable parallax, whether it's side focus or adjustable objective. You want to be able to make sure that you have the full use of that magnification range. The other thing that I really look for personally is a mil-dot reticle. So when you're looking in the scope, you have your crosshairs, and then there's like aim points on the vertical and horizontal that allow you to judge for wind. Like we've got some breeze going on today, and you know, sometimes it's pushing left or right, or if you want to go out at further range. All air guns shoot on an arc. No air gun shoots flat, just so you know. So as you go out further, you're going to need to judge holdover or hold under, depending on your distance. And those mil dots really give you a great way to judge that. So I look for a mil dot reticle. I look for some sort of a adjustable parallax, side focus or front AO, and I look for something that's really going to fit the air gun. Sometimes if I wouldn't put like a 6-24 on this, it'd be way too big and impractical. This is a 3-9. It's good for out to 50 yards. It's really a really good fit for this gun, and it matches again the price point. Now this scope comes with mounts, and this is how it came out of the blister pack. This uses a dovetail rail, and fortunately these are dovetail mounts. Now sometimes you're going to have Weaver or Picatinny like you see on an AR, and if you had these mounts they wouldn't work. So you'd have to make sure that the mounts on your scope are going to match the mounts for your gun. So whether that is Picatinny or Weaver or dovetail, make sure that your mounts match. Now if you're buying mounts, because let's say the gun we had here was Picatinny or Weaver and these weren't going to fit, and you had to buy new mounts, not only do you need to make sure the base is correct, but the tube size has to be correct too. So this is a 1-inch tube with 11mm mounts, and that's going to work perfect for our gun here. But if you say had a 30mm tube scope, you need to make sure that your mounts match the scope and also match the rail. So hopefully that's helpful. It's very easy when you're just starting out to get the wrong mounts or buy a scope and think you're all set, and then you go to put it on and it doesn't work. Very frustrating, not very fun at all. So let's save you some of that headache. All right, once you've got your scope ready to go, we're going to go ahead and just set it on the rail, and we're just going to snug it up. The screws on this side happen to be, well, the screws on this one are on this side. They're an Allen key, and I bet you they're like a 2.5. Let me just get my tools out here. Okay. We don't want to tighten them down all the way. We just want to snug them up. Is it this one? Let's see. It is that one. It is a 3 mil on this one. Okay, so we're just going to get them snug. We're not going to get them real tight. We want the ability to sort of adjust it, because we're going to sit down and check our eye relief. So eye relief is the distance between here and your eyeball. So many people want to tuck that scope right up against their eye, and you never want to do that with a firearm. You get a nice black eye for it. But on an air gun with no recoil, that's not how it works, right? So you don't want to put your eye right here. There's a space between here and here, depending on the scope, that the picture is going to go from black to just full bright. And that's what you want to adjust this so that when you're sitting here and you're comfortable, you get that perfect eye relief. So let's go ahead and sit down here. Now for me, I like a scope to be back a little further. This is pretty much bang on for me. Some people may want it a little bit more forward. Some people may even want it a little bit further back. But for me, I can sit here comfortably. It's at a good height. I don't have to fight at all to get a good clean sight picture. That's good to go. Let's go ahead and lock it down. The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the scope reticle is square to the bore. Now, there's so many different ways to do that, and having done it for 15 some plus years, I frankly just eyeball it, especially on a gun like this. I'm shooting at 20 yards. I'm not shooting at hundreds of yards. It's less important. I mean, you want to do it right, but there's a reality here that you don't need to get a plumb line out and all kinds of gadgets and gizmos and levels and weights and all kinds of stuff to try and get this perfectly square, because you're probably shooting at 20 to 25 yards in your backyard, and you're going to get close enough and you're going to be fine. Now, if you want to go through those other measures, let's say you've advanced in the sport, you're shooting competition, different story. You want to go through as much you want to do as much as you can to make sure you're as square as possible, so that your holdover stays true and you're not wandering left to right when you have to judge for holdover. So, okay, trying to be realistic here. Inexpensive gun, inexpensive scope, shooting close range. We don't need to go through Herculean efforts to make sure we're perfectly square. We're going to get close enough. Now, what I do is I have my gun in a rest, and I can pretty much see if the gun's straight. It's straight, and so I'm going to look down the scope, and I want the reticle to go right in the center of my receiver. So if that reticle is canted left or right, I'm going to loosen these up and kind of turn it till it's square, and then I'm going to eyeball it again. I'm going to take another look. I'm going to go, okay, that's pretty square, and this is actually already pretty square, so we're going to just go with it. And yeah, I mean, that is pretty much bang on the money. I can't guarantee that you'll be able to drop, every scope that comes out of a blister pack with mounts on it is going to line up straight. They're probably not. You're going to have to make some adjustments. To do that, you'd loosen your top mounts and just kind of get it square. When you're comfortable with it, make sure you're square. Check your rifle, check your alignment. And if it looks good to you, lock it down and do some shooting, okay? So I know that for some people, purists, they're going to be pulling their hair out, but I've already pulled mine out, so there you go. I'm done trying to be super specific on products and projects like this, because it's really, you don't need to do it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a couple shots. I've got some pellets here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move that camera. Let's go ahead and move the camera to get on target. And we've got 3 pellets today. I've got my Gamo red fires, which is what we used when we did the unboxing. I've got some 8.4 JSBs, and I've got some, these are 8.64 field target trophies. So we've got hunting pellets and the red fires, and 2 precision pellets with the JSBs and H&Ns. And let's see how we do. Yeah, I'm going to go move that camera and set up on the target. We're at 20 yards, really quickly on that. Why am I not shooting further? Well, new gun, new scope. We don't know where it's going to be hitting. Why do you want to put yourself through more work? sure, I've got 100-yard range here, but I'm not going to sight my gun in, especially this gun, at 100 yards. I'm going to get close. Like, if you're new to this, I would start at 10 yards. I would start at 10 yards, see how you're doing. In fact, I've got a whole like sheet of how to sight a gun at 10 yards so that it's basically on at 20 or 25. Maybe I'll put a link to that in the video description. But you want to start in close so that you get to know the gun, get to know the scope, get to know the accuracy. Okay, if you're way far out, you don't know what's not working. If it's not hitting true, is it you? Is it the conditions? Is it the scope? Is it the gun? You don't know. But you scooch things in. Now you can start dialing in. You have more diagnostic options to you to know really what's going on. It could be the scope, could be the gun, could be the pellet, could be you, the shooter behind the trigger. So get in close, take some of those variables out of the equation, and save yourself some headache. I'm gonna go move that camera. We'll do some shooting. All right, let's go ahead and load our mag. So the Gamo Arrow, if you guys haven't seen the unboxing and the setup, has a 10-shot magazine, which is really cool. Uses a T-handle here for cocking. If you're used to like the 10-meter precision type guns, you're used to the T-handle. I really like it. It's pretty cool. It does have a process you need to know. It's got a catch, and you need to make sure that you clear the catch when you open it and that you make sure that it is fully seated when you're done. So there's a little nub here. So when you pull back, when you want to cock it, you have to push down, pull back, and then push it all the way forward till it latches into place. If it doesn't, if it sort of stays like that, it'll kick back and it won't fire properly. All right, let's take a shot. We're gonna go for the center sighter. The other thing that really helps if you're new is having a stable rest. Now, I've been struggling with this table, but I realized I have two of them, and this top isn't all wonky. So I'm actually pretty happy. I think I've solved at least one of my stability problems. All right, we're gonna take a shot. Locked up, and okay, a little low left. Same hole. Okay, that's 3 in the same hole. So let's go ahead and move that group. Now, on less expensive scopes, and I might get in trouble for saying this, the way a scope works is you've got a tube in there, you've got a spring and a spring. Well, you got a spring and a spring. And as you move your adjustments, you're moving that tube. And sometimes it takes a couple shots of recoil for that spring to settle. A way to accelerate that is to tap the scope a little bit. So if you see me tapping the scope, 1, it's out of habit. 2, on more affordable scopes, it helps get that adjustment sort of fixed a little bit faster. We need to come to the right, and on your turrets, this is how you adjust it. It actually tells you up, down, left, right, and that's the direction you're going to be moving your shot. So if I'm low left, I need to come right and up. So we're going to go right first. I'm going to go 8 clicks, and we'll give it a little tap. And we'll just see where we hit, okay? I don't remember if I cocked it. We're just going to take a shot. Okay, we didn't cock it, okay? Okay, take another shot. There it is, okay. Now, that recoil of the gun, and it's just the slightest little recoil, can sort of get all those springs sort of jiggling around. Before we make any other adjustments, let's take some more shots and let's see if that just gets us where we need to be. A little bit low left. Okay. Oh, way low. I think that was our last shot. Okay. Let's do this. I think we could probably come to the right a little bit and up a little bit. I'm going to take 5 shots at a different target after making an adjustment, and let's see where we land. And I'm going to go check to see who's texting me on my phone. All right, I am going to come to the right a couple more clicks. Make sure I'm moving the right direction. I'm going to come up a couple clicks. All right, we're going to give it a little tap. Okay, you don't need to do that on an expensive scope. Please don't do that. But on an affordable scope, it can help. Just accelerate the process. Okay, I'm on the upper left target. Okay. Okay, it wants to drop a little low. That could be our pellet too. Okay, so we're a little bit low, but we're grouping, you know, nickel-ish size. Let's change pellets. Okay, so if I was hunting a jackrabbit or a squirrel or a rabbit or a rat at 20 yards with where we're at right now, we'd be all right. Let's move over here to the JSBs. One of the things that you will find if you're new to the sport, pellets really can make a difference. The red fires are a great hunting pellet, especially when you're inside 20 yards. They're really good for that. They don't always do well past that, but that's okay. If you're hunting up close, use them. If you're shooting precision further, then there's a lot of different 177s you can pick. We're going to pick a couple. We're going to try a couple of the mainstream ones here. All right, so this is, let's see, these are 7.8 grain. These are a little bit heavier. And I'm going to go to the bull just below we were shooting, so the second bull on the left. Let's see here. Low right. Oh, low left. Low left. Low left, well, just a little bit low. Okay. Not terribly consistent. I'm going to move down to the next bull. And rather than adjust with my rings, I'm just going to use those mil dots. Remember I was talking about those mil dots on the reticle? Since I'm a little bit low, I'm just going to aim using the first mil dot under the reticle. So that's called 1 mil holdover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, those aren't terribly consistent. Let's move on to a different pellet. That's surprising. I would have thought the JSB 8.4s would have been like on the money. Let's move to the field target trophies. Oh, let's also check our pressure. Let's see what we got here. I am sitting right at about 150 bar. I had about 150 bar, so we've got at least 10 more shots. How many have we shot so far? We've shot 30 shots so far, I think. So not bad on a fill. I'm thinking 40 to 50 shots per fill. All right, that's 10. Good. All right, let's go to the upper right side. All right, so one of the things I'm doing here is I don't want to adjust for each shot because pellet variation, we got some wind today. We don't know if we've got the right pellet that's the most accurate. So you could be chasing shots like crazy if you're trying to adjust for each and every shot you take. So what I like to do is shoot a group, and then you can move the group. And if that group moves to center, then you're good to go. All right, let's go ahead and get set up on the top right target. Oh, that looks promising. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Big difference just in the changing of the pellets. I mean, consider that for a moment, because we went from groups like this down to something that maybe not dime size, but certainly much better. Okay, so let's go to the next group below it. We'll do another 5 shots here. And I'm aiming dead center, not using any mil dot adjustment. I'm just aiming dead center here. And a little high. 1, 2, way high. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we had 1 get away, but then we had 4 stack, 1 mil high. We're going to do 5 more shots. Let's see how we do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I aimed a little bit low with that one. There's, again, those mil dots. I used the mil dot just above the crosshair because we were shooting high the previous group. And yeah, all right, so are we completely dialed in yet? Not quite, but hey, you know, that's part of the fun. We'll go grab some more pellets and fill up our gun and see which one is going to be the absolute best. I think we're onto something with the field target trophies, though. I think they gave us some pretty consistent groups. We just got to figure out where to get our scope perfectly dialed so that we're hitting center without having to use our mil dots. But anyway, guys, that's the basic process. You get set up, grab yourself some pellets, and do a little shooting. Take your time. You're not in a rush. No big, not in any big hurry. And move your groups, guys. Don't chase each shot. Shoot 5 shots. See where that group is, like that last one. If I had aimed dead center, it would have been a little high right. So maybe I'd shoot another 5-shot group. See if I'm getting the same point of impact. And just work my way through it. And then once we're consistent, we're getting like consistency, then we move that group to where it's going to be most accurate. So guys, that's how I do this. I hope that's useful. If you're new to air gunning, a couple things. Make sure you pick the right scope, the right mounts, start close, and have some fun. Guys, that's going to be it. My name's Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb, your home for old school airgun reviews and where we tell you the facts, not fluff. Thanks for watching.